Hi everybody, DUGROZ here with DUGROZ Reports. Welcome to another episode of Frugal Points, where I drive in my car and talk to you about the philosophical side of points and miles. Today's topic, getting Condor condoid. This is referencing Condor Airlines, which is a leisure carrier out of Germany, and my adventures in kind of getting roughed over by them. Condoid is a takeoff on the phrase Bonvoid, referencing Marriott Bonvoy's program, and when they cheap you out of value, a lot of people call it getting Bonvoid. We'll dive in just a moment. Before we do, though, on this channel I talk about epic value for the average American, including but not limited to credit card rewards. Does that sound interesting? If it does, please click the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. Let's dive in. So I need to tell you the history of my travels with Condor, what I was planning for this summer of 2025. So when the ability to move your points from American Express to Hawaiian to Alaska to book with Alaska opened, I went in pretty heavily and started looking for award flights using Alaska miles. And my family was planning to go to Europe this summer, and we found one-way business class tickets from Frankfurt, Germany to Minneapolis, Minnesota on the day we needed to return, or maybe, yeah, the day we needed to return. And I don't remember exactly how much they were, but I don't think they were very expensive, like 60,000 points, something like that. If it's dramatically different, I'll put it on the screen here. And the taxes and fees weren't even that bad, maybe like $150 per person, something like that. So I jumped on that. I made the transfer to Hawaiian to Alaska, used Alaska to book Condor. Everything looked great. On the day that we were planning to return, I was debating two particular days, and I thought the later of those 2 days might be, just a little borderline, but should be okay, and that's the day there was availability. I would have preferred the day before. So I was thinking, like, if something goes wrong, I can always move the end date of our trip one day sooner. That should be okay. Based on my kids' activity schedule, we have to be back by a certain date. So make that reservation. Everything's great. On the front end, what we're going to do is, I live in Des Moines, Iowa, so we're going to drive from Des Moines to Minneapolis. I'm going to take a repositioning flight from Minneapolis to New York City, leaving my car in Minneapolis. Move from LaGuardia Airport, spend the night, wake up, take an Uber or train over to JFK, and we're flying premium economy on Virgin from New York JFK to Manchester, United Kingdom. That should work out pretty well. Would have preferred business class, but I got a smoking deal on premium economy. It worked out to over 10 cents per point. I did a separate video about that, or maybe a live stream, one of the two. I'll put a card up in the corner. We're going to do 3 days in Scotland, 4 days in Wales, and then head over to the continent. And then we've got 4 more days. Don't know where we're going to do those 4 days. I was thinking Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Liechtenstein, that general area. But I need to end in Frankfurt, Germany to catch the aforementioned Condor flight, a direct flight from Frankfurt to Minneapolis. I thought I had scored big time because my wife doesn't like layovers. She despises repositioning flights. The fact that we're doing one is about the most we can handle. So I thought this is going to be great. We're going to end our trip on, business class, lie flat seats. The reviews I read of Condor were pretty good, but here's what happened. Well, first of all, you need to know that Condor is something of a leisure travel airline, maybe a bit like Virgin. I guess I shouldn't say Virgin is leisure, I have no idea. But they're not part of an alliance, so they're not part of One World, even though you think they might be hanging out with, American Airlines and Alaska and Aer Lingus and British and all them, but they're not. They just have this direct agreement with Alaska as a partner. So first, I got an email about 2 weeks after making the booking that said they're pushing my flight back 1 day. So instead of being on the later day, they pushed it back a day. And I'm like, oh crap, that doesn't work. I had already picked the later of the 2 days that worked, and now you pushed it back even 1 day later. From a Wednesday to a Thursday. I thought Tuesday would work, maybe Wednesday, so I booked the Wednesday. They pushed it back to a Thursday. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll wait until after the busy New Year is over, and then I'll call them and deal with that. While waiting for all that to be done, I got a second email that said they had rerouted me entirely, and they are now, instead of flying me directly from Frankfurt to Minneapolis, along with my family, they're flying me and my family from Frankfurt to Seattle, 3-hour layover in Seattle, and then on Alaska Metal from Seattle back to Minneapolis. And I'm like, crap. Well, I was alerted by channel member Matt Clausen and fellow YouTube content creator Matt Clausen that the reason why is because Condor dumped 2 of their routes, and one of them, maybe 3, one of them was the Minneapolis route. It has something to do with a lawsuit. I don't really understand it, but they don't fly to Minneapolis anymore. When I first heard that, I was like, crap. But then I had this moment of like, oh, wait a minute. This might be the keys to the city for me. Like, I can pick any other time slot, any other airline. You know, instead of flying out of Frankfurt, maybe I can fly out of Zurich or Vienna. I know Condor routes everything through Frankfurt, but, you know, this will open up other airline partners for me. And part of what had me thinking that is back in 2023, I had booked with KLM Flying Blue to fly from, where was it? Göteborg, Sweden, with a layover in Amsterdam, home to Minneapolis. And then KLM dropped that flight, but they rebooked me on Delta, which was, at least on paper, an even better flight, a more expensive flight. So I got more cents per point. It was Delta One, not the tippity top-notch best Delta One, but their slightly older Delta One. But it was still perfectly cromulent. So I thought, yes, I'll do this again. So I'm looking on the Alaska website, like there's an American flight, there's an Aer Lingus flight. I even considered a couple others. But I'm like, yeah, I'll get one of these and I'll get to pick whatever I want. So I called them yesterday. Nope, that's not how it works. And here's why. Condor is not actually a member of the One World Alliance. They are just a direct partner. They have a direct agreement with Alaska. So what I found out is that since the change was made by Condor, not by Alaska, I can only rebook on Condor or Alaska. Aer Lingus is not an option. American is not an option. And then I can't even use it for a connecting flight within North America. Like, so let's say, for example, Condor could get me to New York City. Even though American is a One World Alliance partner, they won't take me from New York City to Minneapolis or New York City to Des Moines. Basically, the way Aer Lingus and American looks at it is, hey, they're not part of the club. Condor is not in our gang, so you're on your own. You got to figure this out, Alaska. Well, of course, Alaska doesn't have any flights to Europe. Their new partner, Hawaii, doesn't have any flights to Alaska, so I have to find a flight that takes me from Frankfurt, Germany, to a hub of Alaska somewhere in North America, and then they'll get me back to Minneapolis from there. So the only 3 cities that do that are Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, and Anchorage, Alaska. So basically I have to overshoot the Midwest by 3 hours, have a layover of multiple hours, and then fly back. And here I was trying to impress my wife with no layovers. So I spoke with 2 representatives last night. The first had no idea what they were doing, but I complained enough to get to a representative who did know what they were doing. She was very good. Her name was Allie. And she said, I have to put in a request to Condor for them to open up or force open award availability. And I said, let's push that forward a day to the Tuesday that was the day before I originally requested. She said, you can go a day before or a day after your original flight. The first representative told me I couldn't do Tuesday because my flight was on Thursday. I was like, no. I booked for Wednesday. Condor switched me to Thursday. But Ali understood, yeah, you can go from the Wednesday back to the Tuesday. So there goes my dreams of, an Aer Lingus flight from Vienna to Dublin to Minneapolis that would be nice and sweet. And I don't even know yet if Condor is going to accommodate me. So if they are complete jerks and are unwilling to force open award availability, both representatives told me, well, you can cancel your flights. We'll give you a full refund. We'll even refund you the partner booking fee. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. But I got business class international lie flat seats for a family of 4 on the same flight directly from Europe to Minneapolis for like less than 67,000 points each and maybe $150 in fees. Do you know how rare that is? That was like a fountain of youth treasure find kind of thing. So, once she understood the dilemma, she was very apologetic and said she's so sorry it happened. And I told her, I know it's not your fault. I said I was hoping Alaska would just eat it. Like if I book a 200,000 point thing on Aer Lingus, you would just eat the points. She said, no, we have a very special and unique agreement with Condor. And she also said, because Condor dropped this Minneapolis route, they've been having quite a few people call in with the same problem. So lots of people competing over not a lot of space. Because Condor dropped all of their Minneapolis flights for the rest of the year, not just the one on the day that I had. So what should I do if they can't accommodate me? Because if they say, nope, the only award space we have is Thursday, the one we've already assigned you against your will, your options are keep it or get a full refund. So if they say that, what are my options? Now, I'm open to suggestions. Don't make them super obvious sections, recommendations. Like, we'll just hang up and call again. Maybe someone else will give you a different answer. I am confident I spoke with a very well-qualified customer service rep. We commiserated because we both talked to people in our jobs. She said she's worked there for 7 years. She's like the only person that works after 5 o'clock who does ticketing changes for first class and business class award flights. So, I got to the person, and she knew the lingo. She understood award flights. She was top notch. So I believe her when she said we can only do Alaska or Condor metal. The mere fact that she understood the term their metal, or something along those lines was pretty impressive. So one option I have is just call off the trip entirely. Now that would create an interesting dilemma because Virgin has a $100 per ticket cancellation fee, so I would lose $400. I did book that. I have paid my award fees and stuff with my Chase Sapphire Reserve, so I could file an insurance claim. The problem is, I'm guessing Condor would say, hey, we offered you a full refund. You're not out anything from us. And Virgin would say, well, we didn't cancel our flights. We're not at fault here. So the insurance company would probably say, well, it's your own dumb fault for booking 2 one-way flights. You should have booked a round trip. I don't know if that's how they would see it or not, but it seems like kind of a stretch to say my insurance should eat that $400 in cancellation fees with Virgin because some other airline canceled the flight that I wanted. They would probably say, hey, look, they offered you a different flight with no additional charge. It's just 1 day later and has added 7 hours of flight time that you can't do. So I doubt filing an insurance claim would work. I could just eat the $400, chalk it up to a learning experience, and say, oh, next time I need to go with someone who is part of an alliance, even if they have a partnership. And then reschedule a whole different trip. I could just say, well, forget Europe, we're going to Florida, or we're going to North Central New York State, gonna hang out with Filmo, or something like that. So I could bail on the trip and plan a whole different trip that's more convenient. I could keep searching for award flights and hope something better comes up. I have thought about I could book Condor directly through the Chase portal. Now, I don't know if they have Condor flights. Condor flights are actually not that expensive. Maybe that's why it was available, because they do this kind of stuff. Maybe it's a good product, but their customer service is bad. I don't know. It was only a touch over 1.5 cents per point, so if I could find a similarly priced, kind of in that, let's say I found a $1,000 flight, that would only be 66,000 points-ish, 1.5 in the Chase portal. So I could do that. The problem is then I would have to, you know, say fly Condor into, I'm not sure where they fly into, New York City. I don't believe they fly to Chicago. I don't think so. Don't want to go to Chicago. Maybe could. But let's say I fly to New York City and then have American Airlines get me from New York City back to Minneapolis. Well, then I'm functionally eating the cost of the repositioning flight because I didn't have one before. So that would be an option, but it's not a very good option. I could just book the return flight in Gulp Economy. Oh man, I don't want to fly economy though. At the end of a trip to sit in a, you know, even if it was direct, which it won't be, sit in an economy 8-hour flight from Europe back to Minneapolis, that would stink. I like to end the trip with luxury because then you have something to look forward to as the trip comes to an end. It's sort of like, you know, the icing on the cake kind of thing. I'm more likely to fly premium economy on the way to Europe and then business on the way home. I say this like I have a ton of experience. I don't. I mean, this will be my second time ever flying international. Plus, I don't even know if I could find good economy or premium economy tickets. Like, that's pretty hard to find. So, again, open to suggestions. Let me know if you guys have thoughts. If you have seats.aero or something like that, I might resubscribe, and you want to hunt for ways to get from Europe to Minneapolis, 4 people, same flight, lie flat business class, preferably nonstop, but at most one layover. Like if I need to go from, I don't know, I'm making something up. Let's say it's KLM. I need to go from Nice, France to Amsterdam, and then Amsterdam to Minneapolis. You know, if we can get in that 67,000 or less point range, I'd be willing to consider it. Again, please subscribe to the channel, put your comments down below, and as always, may your spending be frugal, and may your points be plenteous. Thanks.